Hi there, Audrina here again, reading the next chapter from my debut novel, Where Did Your Heart Go? And we're up to chapter 68 today, which means that there's only 69 and 70 to go, so really getting excited to be nearing the end of this read for you. Anyway, sit back, relax and enjoy. Charlie and Mitchell walked hand in hand along the path that headed into town. Carefully, Charlie steered them in the direction of the church instead of going through town, so they could take in the view. Leaning over the railings, they stared down onto the stage and dance floor spread out before them. "That's a fabulous sight," Mitch said in a breathy voice. "It still looks huge from up here," Charlie said in awe. She felt Mitch's arms around her shoulders and she moved in towards him. "Let's walk this way," Charlie said, moving down the familiar paths that led to her father. Silently she paused in front of the headstone. She'd only been here a few times over the years, mostly with her mum. Kneeling down she saw a bunch of fresh flowers, running her fingers over the engraved name. "Hi Dad, this is Mitchell. We're dancing together tomorrow and I hope you'll look down and watch us," she whispered. Mitch rested his hand on her shoulder and read the inscription. Although he spent very little time with his mum, at least he still could. Standing up, she turned to Mitch and he held her in his arms. "I just felt that I had to come here," Charlie said. "I know, it must be hard for you as you never really knew him." "I think it's more to do with the fact that my mum is going back to the person she really loved, and I don't want Dad to think that I will love him any less," she sighed. "It's kind of hard to explain." Looking up into her face, she watched his lips head towards hers, and he kissed her with a tenderness she'd never felt before. As the darkness started to fold its cloak around them, they walked home. "Mum, we're home," Charlie called when they got back to the house. "That's good, because I really need to get to bed," Steph said, peering in the hallway. "OK, Mum, we'll see you in the morning. I'll come down with Mitchell to meet his dad and the guys at 8. "Night, Stephanie," Mitch said. Charlie filled the kettle and made them hot chocolate, taking them through to the conservatory, where they sat down on the sofa. "I can't wait for tomorrow," Mitch said. "Me too. I think it's going to be amazing." Leaning across, she planted a kiss on his cheek. Mitch turned his head slightly so he could taste the sweetness of the chocolate on her lips. "Let's go up to bed," Charlie murmured. "What happened to be too excited to sleep?" "I didn't think I said anything about sleeping," Charlie teased. When my alarm sounded at 5 in the morning, I flicked it to snooze and had a further 10 minutes. I grabbed a quick shower and took a look out of the window. The sun was shining in a perfect blue sky. A real rarity. I found my new sundress and fastened my hair up in a loose ponytail, applying a light-coloured lip gloss. I didn't need any other makeup, so my skin seemed to glow and my eyes were bright with love. After a quick coffee, I was out of the door. Paul had driven the radio bus down to the site and was sat outside waiting for me to arrive. "Morning, Steph. Did you order the weather?" he asked. "Of course, it's going to be a perfect day," I replied. In fact, that was the very song I would start the show with. I checked the setup and started up the music and the tone for the whole day ahead. Then my phone beeped. "Driving along the motorway now, listening to some great music," James texted. The next song was Somewhere Out There by Linda Ronstadt and James Ingram. I smiled, feeling my heart starting to beat that little bit faster. My phone went again as James requested the next song. It was Waiting for a Star to Fall by Boy Meets Girl. A favourite, obviously. The words perfectly matched mine and the way we were both feeling as we teetered on the brink of rediscovery. I was soon playing requests for people preparing for the event. As I watched the clock tick by, I looked up to see Charlie and Mitch standing outside, holding coffees in their hands. Then Paul came in to talk to me. "Steph, there's a guy outside with coffee and a bacon sandwich for you," he said, looking puzzled. "Oh, send him in," I replied as I lined up the next song to automatically play and stepped out of the tiny studio. When he walked onto the bus, I could feel my heart already increasing in tempo. "As promised," James said as I stepped forward, taking them and putting them straight down on the nearby table. "You look beautiful," he told me, closing the gap between us. I heard the second song start to play, and knew that I would not have much time before I needed to be back behind the desk. Looking down, I saw my hands were shaking from the tension that surrounded us. When I looked up, I was staring directly into his blue eyes, and I stepped into his open arms. Breathing in, I closed my eyes as my heart hammered in time with his. Feeling his hands pulling me in tighter, I looked up again to a sight that took my breath away. He was here. He was real. James was mine again. His lips captured mine, and I struggled to remain in reality as feelings of love exploded inside me, escaping their years of confinement. I felt like a butterfly emerging from its chrysalis into the warm sunshine and feeling free. Pulling away, I still couldn't speak as I motioned to the song that was starting to fade out. I hurried back behind my desk as James watched with interest. I found my voice and announced the next couple of songs. Then, once another 3 songs were set to go, I felt calm enough to leave the safety of the studio booth. "Hey," I said, stepping back out and picking up the mug of coffee. "How long have you got before your session finishes?" James asked. "Oh, about an hour. Hope you don't mind waiting just a little bit longer." James shook his head. "If that kiss means what I think it means, then I'm more than happy to wait." He was still the gentleman that I remembered when he'd waited for me all those years ago. Mitch and Charlie peeked round the door. "Everything looks great and sounds fantastic," Charlie said. "James bought us some breakfast, so we're having an early picnic on the grass outside." "I'll join you when my show finishes in an hour," I said. "I'll join you in a moment," James said as we watched them leave. "I should be able to sneak away for an hour after my show, and you can drop your bag off at my house," I said, smiling shyly at the thought of James seeing my place. "Sounds like a plan. Meanwhile, how many songs do we have left?" he asked. He took my coffee mug from my hand and reeled me in. "I'm struggling to let you go," he whispered. "I keep thinking you might be a figment of my imagination." "I'm real," I said, as my lips found his. The hour passed quickly, and when I emerged into the sunshine, I found the riverside already bustling with people. The girls from Charlie's group had appeared, and they were already warming up, ready for a final run-through of their dance. A number of the local bands had turned up, and as I wandered towards James, I saw Jack heading in my direction. "Hi, Jack," I called out. "Hey, Steph, what a glorious day to spend by the river." He pulled me in for a hug and turned to take in the stage and the dance floor. "It really does look good." "Has our big star arrived yet?" he asked. "Oh, Rick's due here at 3 this afternoon, but I have an hour off and there are a few things I need to get done," I said, smiling as I saw James closing in. Jack turned to see where my attention had wandered off to. Spotting James, he grabbed my arm. "I hope you're going to give it another chance." "I am." "Hi, James. This is Jack. You might remember meeting him some years ago." James nodded and stuck out his hand. "Hi, Jack. Can I possibly whisk Stephanie away from you?" he asked. "Sure," Jack said. "See you later." We watched him walk towards the dance floor and talk to Charlie. "At last," James said. "I have you for a whole hour." We walked to the minibus and James grabbed his bag and then my hand. "I'm sorry I'm not letting you go," he said. Walking along the river, we cut through the swimming pool car park. "God, this brings back memories," James said as we paused to look at where it all began. "I know. I still swim sometimes, but swimming is never the same without you." James pulled me close and brushed a light kiss on my lips. "I'm only going to say sorry this one final time. From now on it's a fresh page that we have to write on," he said. "That sounds like a plan. Like the very first letter I ever sent you. Like the very first time I ever kissed you. Although revisiting that spot might be kind of nice." "I think that could be arranged," I replied. Letting us in, I glanced nervously over to James. I was watching for his reaction. "Lovely house," he told me. "I'll give you a quick tour if you like," I said, feeling shy. "Lead on," James said as we went through to the kitchen. He admired the layout and peeped into the conservatory. Then we went to the dining room and lounge. "I'm sure you'll remember my place. It's so much smaller than yours." "But a building doesn't make a home," I murmured. He looked across at the bookshelves and then all the DVDs lined up. Moving closer, he ran his hands over the spines of a couple of books. "You're still a bookworm then?" he asked. I nodded as he moved on to the DVDs. He pulled one out and turned to me. Before I even saw it, I knew which film it was as I closed the gap between us again. My hands touched the case before he slipped it back onto the shelf. Then I was in his arms again, surrendering to his familiar touch, reawakening so many feelings within me. My heart had started to beat again as our tongues met and explored, in a pattern that we both knew. Time slipped away as we stood in each other's arms, our eyes wide open, watching each other anew. I heard the grandfather clock in the hall pass the hour and pulled away. We'll have to go back, I'm afraid. I've got more work to do, and a superstar to meet. Come on then, he said. We'll finish this tour later. So, that's the end of that chapter. 2 more to go. I hope you're really enjoying this. Please feel free to pop a like on my YouTube and maybe even subscribe so you don't miss the last couple of chapters. Still, if you do want to read ahead a bit faster than me, you can grab the book on Kindle. It's only 99p or 99 cents. It's a really cheap book to pick up and have in your collection. Or if you want a paperback copy, also available from Amazon. Or if you'd like a signed one, then please get in touch with me. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or through my website, which is www.audrinalane.co.uk. Anyway, that's it from me for now, and I'll see you again for the next chapter. Bye bye.